Okay. We are starting tonight with Miracle Principle 33. In one book it's on page 5, and in the other edition it's page 3. Now, before we begin, I would like to make a simple point. We are in the process of reading a rather interesting book. A book whose intent is to be transformational. But I want everyone to know that the greatest disservice you can do to yourselves is to try to find a book or a teaching or a thought system that is so precise and consistent and tight in its explanation of things, that you might feel that all you had to do was to learn how to be as precise as the book is, or to live the principles of the thought system precisely in order to wake up. Why? Because in doing that, you would neglect to be open to the conscious experience of the living presence of God and the movement of creation itself. This is a very important point. It's ultimately important. Whatever you read in this book should, if nothing else, be causing you to become open to the intimate and immediate experience of God, which I promise you is not going to conform to any thought system. Because what God is being is forever new. Those who would look for a thought system precise and consistent in the layout of its principles, who grab onto it are in an act of self-protection against the actual experience of God, because they are looking for something unchangeable, absolutely, dependably unchanging. And that's not what the experience of creation is. And to become open to the living experience of the living God is going to be, as far as the ego is concerned, an insecure experience. Undependable, because unpredictable. Now, we've been reading about miracles, and we've been finding out that miracles are a sudden shift of perception, which occurs when you are not and reinforcing your current mindsets, your current mutually agreed upon definitions, and in a sense are not reinforcing your defenses. And in the absence of those defenses, a light bulb can go on, an aha can occur, a realization that constitutes a shift of perception that changes the way you are seeing and experiencing everything. A miracle isn't something you arrive at through reason or the intellect. It is as though a new way of seeing things is inserted into your awareness, which transforms your awareness. And it's unexpected. Now, if anyone thinks they know what a miracle is going to look like, or how it ought to appear, it's going to be a long time before they experience one. Because when the actual miracle occurs, they'll say, that wasn't a miracle. Or their confidence as to what a miracle is will cause them not even to see it when it occurs. You have to be willing to let yourself become vulnerable, undefended, unprotected. If anything new is going to penetrate your preconceptions. It's simple. So, with that in mind, let's begin with principle number 33. And I'm going to invite everyone not to fiddle with this end of the microphone, since it got turned off halfway through the gathering last meeting. So, hold the mic up here and don't fiddle down here.
33. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. They dispel illusions about yourself and perceive the light in you. They thus atone for your errors by freeing you from your nightmares. By releasing your mind from the imprisonment of your illusions, they restore your sanity.
That pretty well restates everything that we have been learning so far. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. The interesting thing is that miracles reveal your lovableness to you. And in uncovering your lovableness to you, they honor you. In a way, that statement is sort of like saying water is wet. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. Miracles honor you because they uncover what you really are when you didn't know that's what you really were. That's what dispels the illusions about yourself. Let us go on to the next principle.
Miracles restore the mind to its fullness. By atoning for lack, they establish perfect protection. The Spirit's strength leaves no room for intrusions.
The Spirit's strength. Spirit is substance. Substance is spirit. The substance of everything you see in this room is spirit. The substance of you is spirit. The substance of your very being is spirit. Miracles restore the mind to its fullness. They reveal its indivisibility. They reveal its innocence. They reveal its all-inclusiveness. By uncovering the absence of lack, they establish perfect protection, not in the sense of encircling you with tanks and enemy aircraft guns and a better wall of defense, but they establish perfect protection by uncovering to you that you're naturally invulnerable, that that vulnerability is non-existent. So they establish perfect protection by uncovering the fact that you are not in need of protection because there is nothing unlike you to be defended against. And the Spirit's strength, the strength of the substance of your being, leaves no room for intrusions. When the miracle establishes in you the truth of you as your conscious experience, there simply is no room for the intrusion of anything, and there is the conscious realization that there is nothing unlike you that can intrude upon you. And so you can be at perfect peace. Continue.
Miracles are expressions of love, but they may not always have observable effects.
They may not always have observable effects, but they will always have effects. Love is always transformational, but the transformation isn't always visible. When the miracle is a shift of perception, about the kingdom of heaven that you are calling, quote, the world, unquote, then you are going to find what you would call visible evidence of a miracle. You will find visible, tangible transformation. The disappearance of the evidence of disease or injury. the disappearance of a blight on a complete forest. The closing of the holes in the ozone. The purification of your water systems without a mechanical process being employed. Because no matter how screwed up your world appears to have become through thoughtlessness, creation hasn't for a moment been altered. And when a shift in perception occurs, the changes to creation that it looked like man created will no longer appear to be present, to be disturbed by. And it can happen instantaneously. You can't have a sudden shift of perception without perception being changed. So be careful not to argue against, for any reason, the manifest, evident, tangible embodiment, we'll say, of the kingdom of heaven where, quote, the world, unquote, seemed to be. This is very important.
May I ask a question about the Thank you. May I ask a question about the practicability of manifesting? For instance, if there's right now I'm confronted with a soft spot in my driveway, okay, that I'm talking about digging up and reworking. Okay, is it practical for me to expect a miracle, for me to wake up one morning and go out there and the driveway to be totally repaired all by itself?
It's very practical to have that expectation. But you're not here to designate what the miracle is going to be.
I see. So
the miracle may be someone coming up to your door saying, I have a family, I'm not able to find work, do you have anything I can help you with?
I see. So my job is to see God expressing love in the form of creation. And then as I experience that, in what I see all around me, things begin to happen.
That is correct.
And I don't choose if it's my teeth or a driveway or whatever that are healed.
That is correct.
I see.
You cannot be the manifester of a miracle. However, something that all of you hate to look at are your needs. You are insulted by being needy. And so you do everything you can, create employment for yourselves, create a roof over your head, so that your needs are apparently met. And you don't have to be conscious of the fact that the needs are still present. You see what I'm saying? You cover up the fact that you need things by arranging your experience so that you're not confronted by the need. In other words, you need to eat. So you get a job so you can buy the groceries so you can eat. And you eat well every day, and you become unconscious of the fact that you need to eat. The ego insists upon your being unconscious of your needs, because if you were conscious of your needs, you would know that you needed help in order for them to be met, and you would reach out to God.
What was the dynamic with Virginia as far as her healing is concerned?
There was a need. There was discomfort. There was decay in her teeth. And she could not ignore it. And she decided not to go to the dentist, which some people would say was ignoring the situation. But that isn't all she did. She prayed. She had no idea how the answer might come. But she prayed humbly, and she didn't fret about it. She prayed, and she let it be. And she prayed, and let it be. And in the absence of manipulation, but the presence of her awareness of the need, so that she continued to ask, the need was met. Or up to this point, partially met. And I encourage you to expect more.
Planning to.
Indeed. Now, my point is that although you cannot determine what the miracle will be, if you will pay attention to your needs, you will find your needs always bringing your attention to the point where movement is going to occur. And in honoring the need and saying and acknowledging it, and knowing that there can be no unmet need, your attention is where the miracle is about to happen, if I may put it that way. And by having your attention there, without conscious intent to make something happen, to know exactly what it is you need to ask for help about, you bring yourself into alignment for a miracle, which you will discover shortly is referred to as miracle readiness.
In places where they're starving, like Africa, Asia, there's definitely the need, and those folks definitely have their attention on that need, but there's not expectation and consciousness. Is that why that situation continues?
The problem is that they think that they are physical beings living in a physical world where abundance and lack are determined by physical forces, weather conditions, conditions of the of the land, and politics. And they have convinced themselves that these are the factors that govern their situation and their lack. And they have a mutually agreed upon definition that they are all binding each other with by continuing to energize it through reaffirming it, specifically by mutually complaining about the injustice of it, and never for a moment saying, God, help.
It's more, why is God doing this to me, which doesn't help at all.
That is right. And the why is God doing this to me is part of the liturgy of the mutually agreed upon definitions that they are committed to.
Thank you.
Did you have a question?
In my own activity that I conduct, would it be, remember I used to have a prayer list, and I used to work off of that. I always prayed to Jesus, but is there, in some way should I integrate acknowledging my needs as part of what I do, as part of when I become still and conscious and open up to guidance and awareness? Should I make that a part of that activity? Consciously going through, like, I know I need this. And
It would be an excellent thing to do. If you did it well, you would find that a lot of what you think are your needs are wants, or are things that you have determined are what will answer the problem. Needs themselves are very basic, like not hurting, not being hungry, not being ill, not suffering. Like having an object of your affection is a need. Being able to extend affection is a need. You will usually be able to find out what your needs are by paying attention to where you're uncomfortable. Because where you're uncomfortable are the places where you're blocking or resisting being conscious of the truth. Because you have a preference of your own. So your needs, your need not to hurt, when you pay attention to it, brings you to a realization of what you need in order not to hurt.
yeah, and that's a living
And
thing.
when you find where you are uncomfortable and you ask for help without trying to figure out the answer for yourself, the Father or the Holy Spirit or your guide or myself will help you realize what will answer the need.